with professional golfer Faith Kilgore. How are you doing today, Faith?
Good. I'm great, Gavin. How are you?
Good. Thanks for doing this. You know you're not feeling
Mhm.
well. Yeah, how are you doing today? How are your holidays and everything like that?
Yeah, no, definitely had a great Christmas. It was nice to take a step back. I had just come back from two tournaments the week before Christmas, got back on the 21st, and then took some time off to spend time with family. So great time to balance life and golf right now.
Yeah, tell me about those tournaments and yeah, what tournaments you mostly playing?
Yeah, so it's pretty tough right now looking into winter tournaments. Like, there's not a lot, especially even in Texas, which seems like there should be more with our weather. It is a little unpredictable. But I went over to Arizona and played in the Arizona Women's Open,
Okay.
and then played there Monday or played there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. As soon as I finished my round Sunday, got on a flight to LA when played in the California Women's Open Monday, Tuesday. So didn't get a practice round out there, but I figured it was worth the experience of just at least playing in a tournament, even if I knew, I'm going into the course blind and everything. So played all right. It was just sometimes you have to do what you got to do just to get events in.
Nice. And you're from Texas. Is that where you live currently?
Mhm. Yes.
Nice.
So I'm from a little town outside of Austin, about 45 minutes. And then I live in Austin, Texas now.
Yeah, so we'll get into my first question. So you grew up in Wimberley, Texas. Is that where you grew
Mhm.
up your whole life? And yeah,
Pretty
just tell me
much. I
about
was
growing.
born in North Texas, and then I moved to Wimberley, really small town, just about like 3,000 people. So everybody knows everyone, and I was like the only golfer in town.
Nice. Yeah, so what age did you begin playing and yeah, how did you get started playing golf?
So I started playing when I was 12. I played basketball growing up, and
Okay.
my dad sat me down one day and was just like, Faith, I was in seventh grade at this point. He's like, Faith, I don't know if you're going to be the best basketball player ever. Like maybe you're not as fast or athletic. So let's try golf. And I kind of hurt, but I was like, okay, let's do it. Like he might be right. So he encouraged me to get into golf, and I had practiced for 1 month. And then our junior high had a team. And so, it was a fun excuse to take the day off of school. And then after my first tournament, I really did like it. And the rest has kind of been history. So, yeah, that was just about just over 10 years ago.
Yeah, so tell me about your junior career. I know I heard a little bit about it, read a little
Mhm.
bit about it,
Yeah.
your family didn't have the money for you to,
Mhm.
travel around the country and play. So,
Right.
just tell me about your junior golf career growing up in Texas and, getting to play junior golf in Texas.
Mhm. Yeah, so it became like kind of a smaller community that I got to play against just because I had never left the state to play until my first college event. So I was really only traveling to like Dallas and Houston and then doing some like Southern Texas PGA stuff. So it wasn't anything extremely competitive, which was tough because then when I got to a different level, I just wasn't quite prepared. So my career has been very gradual as a lot of there's different experiences for everybody, but mine was kind of small until I really got to that big pond. So it was fun though, because I actually got to have a lot of success growing up in these small events. So it gave me a lot of confidence and it gave me the want to keep going.
Nice. And I also see, growing up, you played at Quicksand Golf Club, which didn't even have a range, and that like your father had to make a range, a little net for you to hit in
Yeah.
at your house. So just talk about that and talk about, growing up playing Quicksand and, other places in Texas you would get to play at.
Absolutely. So yeah, Quicksand doesn't have a driving range, and then they only have a putting green that's not big. It's like the size of a tee box. So I got really good at short game growing up. My dad taught me to chip first, and so I would just sit out there for hours chipping, and that's still the best part of my game. And then to work on long shots, especially before I could drive, he built a net in our backyard. It's an old trampoline net he got from a garage sale, and he hung it between two trees, got an old mat from Golf Galaxy, and I would just go out there and hit balls for hours. And he would make me spray paint my goals on there. So I took blue spray paint and it said 4A state champion. And I would look at that every single day and know I was hitting balls to become the 4A state champion. So I've always been really goal oriented. And I think him make like us having to be resourceful with my golf career has made me stronger. It was difficult at the time, but just an incredible experience to have something so different. And then when I got my driver's license, that was whenever things were kind of up to me. So I started driving every day. I would drive 30 minutes each way to the nearest driving range. and ended up it's a place called Valor Creek in Blanco, Texas. Ended up finding my swing coach there, ended up working there for 5 years in the pro shop. And I still would consider that my home club. I go out there, every weekend or so.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I like your story, how, you may not have the resources or, the money like other kids, but the
Yeah.
determination was just always there for you, and you were
Right.
definitely willing to work hard at your game.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
yeah, you went to high school at Wimberley High School. Just
Hmm.
talk about, Wimberley High School. Tell me a little bit about it, and, did you play any high school golf or anything like that?
Hmm. Yeah. So we had a team, but I was the only one that could break 100. So it
Okay.
was a pretty big gap in the team, but it was so fun. My graduating class was 180, so not a big school, public school, the only high school in Wimberley. And it was just a really close knit community. And so parents and the community, they knew me as Faith the golfer, because I was, like really the only golfer. I was the only one that didn't play another sport, like just golf. And it was really cool to be able to be known as the golfer. And my senior year, I won and shot under par in 6 out of 8 events that I played in. And so it was really cool. I won my district and regionals my last 3 years in a row. So it was just a really fun experience. My parents like tagged along every single event they could. Um, we have just so many good memories from high school. And I really cherish my time in Wimberley, even though it was quite a bit smaller than most. It was still just a unique experience and the best one I could think of.
So growing up in Texas, were there any notable players you got to compete against, or do you have any, friends who
Mhm.
grew up playing golf with in Texas?
Yeah, actually, one of my now former teammates, we played together in the final round of the state championship, Bow Park. And
Okay.
so she plays for Texas, obviously a great player, Augusta Women's AM player. And that was really good, fun experience. I was a senior and she was a freshman. And we didn't realize we played together until we were actually teammates. So that was pretty funny, recalling those moments. And I would say, yeah, growing up, especially just playing TGA events, Texas Golf Association events. There's just so many college players that come from Texas that it's really cool to see us all, moving out and playing at all the different levels from Power Fives to D3s. Like it's awesome. We're all living our own experience, and there's still plenty of those girls I play with now.
Nice. Yeah, so after growing up in Texas, you then went to college at Colorado Christian University. So tell me about Colorado Christian University. What
Yeah.
drew you to Colorado Christian? Were there any other schools you were looking at attending, or were you pretty set on Colorado Christian?
Yeah, actually, I didn't think I ever wanted to go D2, and I didn't think I wanted to go out of state. Those were on my list of things I didn't want to do. And
Okay.
then, of course, I end up going to the smallest D2 school in the nation in Colorado. So, super funny how that works. But I wasn't really considering CCU at first. And then the coach flew down to watch one of my events at the end of my junior year. And we all went to dinner after. And the coach was just unlike any other coach I'd ever met. He was just so concerned with me as a person before me as a golfer. And we weren't really, I met his team and they weren't numbers, they were family. And I just really liked the draw of having my teammates as my family and a coach as somebody who would build me up as a person to build me up as a golfer later. So I end up committing on my visit, which is a bit kind of a big thing too. Usually you go home and consider it, but I just felt so called that that was the right place for me, even though it didn't seem right on paper. It was totally right in my heart. Committed on site, and those were 4 incredible years. My team and my coach were proved exactly to be what I thought they would. Just a family, a close knit, and our memories there are just incredible too. Like what we did golf, but also what we did outside of golf.
Yeah, well, it seems like, it was a great decision for you because instantly you had success your freshman year. You were RMAC Freshman of the Year and you finished second individually at the RMAC Championship. So
Mhm.
yeah, just tell me about this. What was it like to finish second individually at the
Yeah.
conference championship and to get, Freshman of the Year?
Yeah, as a freshman, that was a great experience. Coming from that small school, in high school, like I was talking about, I don't think I would have been ready to compete at the Power 5 level. So going D2 and then having success again just kept that dream alive. And when I looked down and I almost had that chance to win on the last hole as a freshman, that was really exciting. It really made me think, okay, I want to do this. I want to keep doing this. I want to put myself in positions to win. It's way more fun when you're almost winning tournaments than it is when you're not playing well. So then it just motivated me more to practice and things like that. Freshman and to get freshman of the year, that was a great honor. That's a goal I was striving for anyways. And so achieving your goals are always incredible.
Yeah, obviously getting, team wins is probably most important, but you got some
Mhm,
individual victories while you were at Colorado Christian. So yeah, just,
mhm.
touch on your individual victories at Colorado Christian and what, these victories meant for you.
Yeah, so I won 8 times throughout my college career at CCU.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, once my freshman, let's see, 2 I think 2 my sophomore or 1 my sophomore because that was COVID year. We only played a fall season, and then, got to have 2 my junior year, and then actually 4 of them came in the spring of my senior year. So I won, the last 4 out of the last 5 events we had, I won 4 of them. So that was an awesome experience. I didn't win the national championship, and that's really the only one. So it was really cool to be able to have a big regional win. And then my team won regionals that year too, which was incredible. We were the 11th seed out of 12 teams, and we ended up getting second place and almost beating the former national championship team. So as much as it's so fun to win individually, but I think that that's probably my favorite memory from that. All of my wins is because we also got to celebrate the team win, and we played a lot of good teams too, so we didn't have as many team wins as I wish we could have, but that one is one of the most important, victories, I would say, and advancements as a team, which was awesome. And then we had won conference the week before, which was also a great experience, and winning individually was great. I had a 5-shot deficit going into the final 9 holes and then birdied 4 in a row. And that's when things kind of switched. And then once I had that 4th birdie and tied it up, I knew that I was going to win. And so those were both just incredible memories, team and individually.
Nice. It's awesome. You've also had success outside of college. You qualified for and played in the 2021 and 2022 U.S. Women's Amateurs. So, yeah, how special was it to play in these two U.S. Women's Amateurs and get to compete against the best amateurs, in the world?
That was such an honor being able to walk the putting green and know that I was one of 156 girls that had the honor of teeing it up in both of those USAMs was incredible. I mean, I've got Rose next to me on the putting green, and we've got like Lantana Stone winning at 10 under and getting medalist honors, like big names that I always looked up to. And then here I am teeing it up right there with them. So it's a surreal feeling whenever you get to compete with the people that you think are, the top athletes of your sport. And so it was such an honor to win 2 year or to be able to qualify 2 years in a row, especially considering the first year I made, I had qualified on the number. I was the last person to get in. And then the second year I had to go in a 5-hole playoff for the final spot and ended up winning in a playoff. So both times getting in were very pressure filled situations where I had to birdie down the stretch and I was able to pull that off. So it made this clinching that spot like even sweeter.
Nice. So reading about your story, I believe, after Colorado Christian, you went to Texas, but I believe um, the first time you tried to go to Texas, you got a call from Coach Murphy saying that you could walk on at Texas, but that it was that your credits from Colorado Christian would not transfer over to Texas.
Right.
You had to defer and go back to Colorado Christian for another year. And then you
Mhm.
went and you qualified for the 2022 U.S. Women's Amateur. And then in 2022, then you could go to Texas. So, touch on that story, about how you had to wait a year to go to Texas. And then, being from Texas, what was it
Yeah.
like when you actually got to, transfer and go to
Yeah.
Texas to play for the Longhorns in 2022?
Yeah, exactly like you said it. It was really tough. We didn't realize that my credits weren't going to transfer because I had too many credits.
Okay.
So I had to, if you have over 60% of your degree done at Texas, they won't accept you. They want you to finish your degree where you started it, which does make sense. So it was a bummer because I had already told my coach at the time, my CCU coach, and my teammates that I was transferring. So it was already public to them. Thankfully, I didn't tell a lot of my family and friends yet, but the people that it really affected did know. So I had to go back and ask if I could come back on the team. And of course, they welcomed me back with open arms because they did understand exactly what you say, how important it is to be a Texas Longhorn. So my teammates, there were no hard feelings. They knew what it meant to make that jump from CCU to UT. And they were proud that I could be able to do that. And then when I got to Texas, the first time I had worn burnt orange, I got my bag right before the USAM, the 2022 USAM. And that was really the first time I got to rep burnt orange. And that was the most surreal feeling ever. Growing up outside of Austin, we didn't have any professional sports teams. So UT felt like a professional sport team, anything that they did. And so I remember dreaming about playing at Texas, and then wearing those colors for the first time and having that logo on my bag was one of the best feelings. It just also again showed that you can achieve your dreams even if they look a little different. When I originally dreamed of playing at Texas, I wanted to play 4 years there, but it was so sweet just to be able to play one and then get the other experience that I had too.
Yeah, well, I know that you still represent, wear the Texas logo all the time. So I know, how proud you are to call yourself, a Longhorn, even if it was only for, one season rather than, the four you
Mhm.
would have hoped for. But
Right.
yeah. So after college, after your final year at Texas, you then worked for Pioneer Golf Travel in Austin.
Mhm.
Tell me about working there, and then, the moment when you knew you wanted to, quit your job, and you wanted to
Mhm.
pursue pro golf full time.
Absolutely. So I ended up getting the job. I started May 1st. I graduated a little my program graduated a little bit early from Texas. So I ended up being able to start working May 1st. I didn't really have um time to golf or anything. I was working 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I actually just didn't touch a club for 6 weeks after. So around
Okay.
mid-June, I start kind of wishing that I would have be practicing again, but I just know that there was no way to balance. It was a great job, loved my coworkers. I was selling golf trips, so at least I was still talking to people on the phone about golf, but it's not the same. I thought I would enjoy it, but it's not the same as playing. And I'm glad I did it because it showed me that professional golf was truly what I wanted. I had thought I'd wanted that for 7, 8 years, but I didn't play great in my final season at Texas. So I thought, I'm not good enough. That's fine. I'll just get a real job. And then in July, I was really thinking, I was considering if I quit my job to play professional golf, I have to do it now. This is really the only time in my life I'll be able to do it. So got together with my family and my close knit group, and they helped me, they supported me, and I got a donor who said he would take care of some of my stuff if I did quit my job. So that's what I did. Had to end up moving to Denver for the entire month of August just to get back that practice time I had lost. Because I mean, it was like 106 in Texas, so I couldn't practice for 6 hours a day like I needed to. So I went and moved in with one of my old teammates for the month and would just practice up there and use the old facilities. They welcomed me back with open arms. So that was awesome to be back where it all kind of started to be able to go back to the ranges, to see my teammates from CCU, and then get all the training time back.
Nice. So we got to talk about this year's Kroger Queen City Championship on the LPGA Tour. Yeah, you had the honor of qualifying for Monday qualifying into the LPGA tournament. So talk about that. So what was the moment like? First playing in the Monday qualifier, and then what was it like when you tapped in to shoot 2 under and win the Monday qualifier and
Yeah.
secure a spot on in an LPGA tournament. How special was that for you?
It was definitely the best moment of my life thus far. It was an incredible experience. I also had no idea that I was even close to qualifying. My caddy actually, we were walking up my 18th hole and I was feeling a little nervous. I don't really know why. I did not think I was in it at all. And he looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Don't be nervous. The winners are already in at 7 under. So, like, there's no chance for you to qualify." And I had a 6 foot birdie putt on the last hole, and I was like, "Oh." So he told me, "Go make that birdie for you. Like, go make it for us today, like how hard we worked today." And I lined up that last 6 footer, made my last birdie on 18. And that was, I had no idea, but that was to win the Monday qualifier. And he knew. He just didn't want me to be in my head. So he lied to me about it. So when the putt went in, I actually had no idea. I thought we were going to go sign my scorecard and go get a bite to eat. And I look over at my caddy and he was just over the moon excited. And when he told me I had qualified, he gave me a hug. I thankfully had my towel in my hand and I just had to bite my towel because I just started crying. It was just what you dream about. Like that's what you sit and you write your goals for to Monday qualify. And to be able to win my very first Monday qualifier was an unreal experience.
Yeah, you have an incredible story of, perseverance and hard work all the way from, growing up playing at Quicksand to,
Yeah.
playing at, Colorado Christian to then working your way to qualify for two women's
Hmm.
US Opens and then, working your way to play for, Texas, which was a
Yeah.
goal of yours. Now, you even got to work, hard enough to qualify for an LPGA tournament. So I think your story is a
Hmm.
lot of, determination and, hard work, seems like it all
Thank
pays
you.
off for you. So I
Hmm.
really like your story. But yeah, talk about your experience of, getting to play. Obviously, didn't make the cut, but I still think you
Yeah.
played pretty well, shooting one over
Right.
for
Hmm.
2 rounds. I think, at least I think that's incredible for your first time.
Yeah.
So talk about your experience of playing in an LPGA tournament and what it was like to, get to play alongside Christina Kim and Sydney Michaels for 36 holes.
It was incredible. Christina Kim is the
Mhm.
most amazing woman I could ever meet. She just calmed my nerves immediately. The first hole, I was like shaking, and I didn't know if I was going to make contact with my first tee shot because I was so nervous.
Yeah,
I didn't hit a great tee shot, found the rough on the left side, but I hit it to about 15 feet from there. And Christina hits her approach and she starts walking backwards towards me, and I think, "Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. I did something wrong. I spoke in her backswing." And she comes up, gives me a high five, and says, "Great shot." Like it was just the most comforting experience to have them both in my group. I just think it was a great pairing. Also, to have her caddies too was really helpful. He welcomed me in. I also, yeah, to be able to come down the stretch and if I birdie 18, I make the cut. That was such a fun experience. I kept myself in it for the entire tournament and it came down to one hole. If I would have birdied 18, I would have been in. And, the cards didn't fall like I wish they would have, but
yeah,
I saw how well I could keep up with them and my ball striking and my short game and how that course didn't overpower me with the distance. So it was really encouraging. I didn't know what an LPGA style course setup looked like and I wasn't intimidated at all.
nice. Well, that's awesome. And yeah, congrats on that. That's really
Thanks.
amazing. And yeah. So you've also played on the WAPT tour this past year. Talk about getting to play on that tour and yeah, what tournaments do you think, you'll play in this upcoming year in 2024?
Mhm. So I got to play in one WAPT event, and I thought it was just very well put together. It was towards the end of the season, so it was only a 3-day event. But again, I just love how they did it all up. So I'm actually going to continue my time on the WAPT, and I plan on playing a full schedule in 2024. So I'm going to play all of their tournaments. I think there's 11 right now on the schedule, and then I'll throw in a US Open qualifier in there for sure. And then Q School will be at the end of the summer.
Nice. Yeah, so you'll be primarily playing on the WAPT tour next year or this year.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
nice, that's awesome. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
So yeah, I have two more questions. What are some goals you have for, this upcoming season, 2024? And also what are some goals you have going forward with your golf career? Like do you have a 5-year plan for your golf career where you see yourself in 5 years, or are you just taking it,
Mhm.
year by year right now?
Yeah, great questions. So my yearly goals for this one is going to be obviously playing on the WAPT, and I have just regular goals that I'm going to go in with, and then there's stretch goals with that as well. So my goal is just to make the cut in every event, make
Mhm.
a paycheck, just the simplest I can get. And then of course there are smaller goals in that, and then my big goal for the end of the year is I do want to be in the top 5 of the money list at the end of the season for the WAPT so that
Mhm.
I can get that exemption into stage 2. I just That's my biggest goal. So that's what I'm going to go in to every event for the WAPT looking into. And if maybe that week isn't my week, just play one shot better gets you X amount of dollars more, which maybe places you in that fifth spot. So that's what my goal for this year is, just trying to make top 5 in the money list. And then really, I have a 2-year plan. I have given myself 2 years for sure to play professional golf. It'll be this season, 2024 and 2025. And then at the end of 2025, I definitely want to evaluate where I'm at. If I've given it my all and tried as hard as I could, but I'm not quite good enough, then I can definitely hang my hat knowing that I tried everything I could and it's time to move on. But if I'm also really close or I have gotten my tour card by going to Q school either one of the years, then of course I'm going to continue the journey. And either way, I know that that's going to be what's supposed to happen.
That's awesome. Since you had success last year at the Kroger Queen City Championship Monday qualifier, do you think you'll play in any Monday qualifiers this year? When you can, or is that not part of your schedule for this year?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I've been thinking about
Mhm.
it a lot. So I probably will. I definitely want to play all those the WAPT events, take priority just
Mhm.
for the way that the money will work. And so I'm
Yeah,
thinking about definitely going back to Kroger just because there's great memories there. I love the course and I have met so many nice people in Cincinnati. So I'm thinking about doing some Monday qualifiers at the end of the season. Most likely Kroger and Walmart in Arkansas. Those two are, I played them both this year, and I think that that would be a good field for me to actually be able to advance in. So I'm gonna put those on the potential list.
that's awesome. Final question, something I'm passionate about.
Mhm.
So you're a professional golfer. How do you think we can grow the game of golf? And especially get more juniors, involved with golf? Because most juniors,
Yes.
mostly want to play sports that
Yes.
their friends play. Basketball,
Mhm.
baseball, things like that.
Yeah. No, I think what you're doing is step one.
Mhm.
Just spreading awareness that the game of golf is more than just Tiger Woods and Ellie Corda and Lydia Ko. Like, you don't have to be a phenom to be able to play a sport you love. I mean, I went D2 and then I moved up. Like, I think hearing girls and juniors in general, um, hearing our stories that are unique and they don't maybe always end in the butterflies and rainbows that you think it will. I think that's so encouraging. I wish I would have known any girl that played college golf growing up because I just had unrealistic expectations. And then when I did my journey, I wouldn't change my journey for the world. So I want to find a way to be able to show juniors that any level that you play at is great. It's acceptable. It's not having to go on tour at 18 years old. That's what I thought. I thought I was too old at 23 to even start trying to go on tour, which now I know is completely not true. Following your own journey is a big part of growing the game and then getting these stories out there. So that's why I'm excited to share my story at any chance I can because there might be a girl who's hitting into a net in her dad's backyard right now and she might hear my story and say I want to be like her. So I think that that's the best part for us is vocalizing that there's so many routes.